What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. Shout out to Jules, for the donation to do this video. I'm probably going to do a part 2 of this video because I definitely took way too long to put this video together, but it did give me the opportunity to really think about, different stuff. And so he's the one who really wanted to ask this question. So I really wanted to do this in kind of PowerPoint style. In order to really kind of get my thoughts together, especially since I took as long as it did to put this together. And shout out to him, shout out to his patience. I'll probably do a part 2. And Jules, if you have like another video you want me to do, because I took so long to do this one, definitely let me know. No donation, required, and yeah. So as far as what I want to do is I want to give my predictions rather than doing me talking about what I think is going to happen in the future, because the thing is, you never know. I want to give my predictions on things in the next 10 years, 10 years. So obviously it's 2025, 2035. I want to give predictions on the next 10 years on a variety of topics. So each topic is going to kind of have its own like segment. And let's get started. So as far as China's concerned, it's funny, I had to record that because it was crazy what the Chinese one was looking like. But as far as China's concerned, what's the next 10 years when it comes to China? I'm going to give a couple of things. Number one, I don't think Xi Jinping will still be president. So, because it's already a little bit rocky internally when it comes to China. I actually have a couple of people other than BGS actually feeds me information based on their connections to China. And I'll leave it at that. But obviously, shout out to BGS. But I don't think she will be there. I think you'll have a new Chinese premier. I also think China will go after Taiwan and try to bring Taiwan into mode. I think it'll be later than sooner, because at the end of the day, things are kind of moving in their direction now anyway. And the only way I would think if they move sooner is that if they kind of made a conclusion that Donald Trump is weaker now, then Donald Trump, it'll be better to do it now because they think Donald Trump won't make the strategically sound decision. And so I'm be honest with you, if they go after China within Trump's presidency, which is really what they're not technically projected to do, they're really projected, if they're going to go after Taiwan, to do it by 2032. So if they do it sooner than that, because it definitely not, it would be sooner than, not sooner than 2028, then that's telling me that they made a decision. Obviously, you talk about transfer of power, and that can also disrupt an election. But also, they made a determination that they don't really think Trump's got teeth like that, tactically. Just sending the military in certain places isn't the only thing, because obviously, our economic relationship with China is well, it would disrupt the United States. So that'll say a lot. But so I don't think they'll do it in Trump's presidency, but I do believe they're going to do it in 10 years. Because remember, we're talking about 2025 to 2035. And at the end of the day, man, you see America on the low trying to kind of build up around that. They're trying to see a world where, honestly, they gave China a lot of what China has. So it's incredibly ironic seeing America have the distance from China and all that. All of that is greed. At the end of the day, all of that is greed. There were other countries could have did what we had China do, and you basically gave them the keys to the store. And that's something a lot of people are going to have to live with, that, mainly white people. So I wanted to put that out there. As far as, that, I want to redo that. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts on what are some predictions you have when it comes to China. Do you think I'm spot on when it comes to the fact that she won't be there? Do you all believe? In fact, let me check this. Yeah, he's 72 years old, so he'd be 82 years old. So it is about that time. So let me know what your thoughts on that. Let me know what your thoughts. Do you think China's gonna go after Taiwan? Remember, Taiwan is about the distance from China as Cuba is from the United States. It's not far at all. It's not far at all. And honestly, our military and a lot of campaigns and stuff we're doing I won't say it's being overstretched, but you know. And good luck with a draft. That's the other thing I said. My other thing, China is very aware of the lack of cohesion in the United States more than usual. Like, the problem a lot of people don't understand is Americans will put up with a lot of BS if the economy is good, or if people can at least move forward. It's worse than the economy is not good. People cannot get their life started. And it's too many people to just say it's just people are lazy and this, that, and the third. People are not going for that. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are on this, and move into the next one. Alright, so JD Vance is going to be president. So JD Vance, I do think he's probably going to be our next president. Now, although it's a little bit far to kind of predict, the truth is that when you look at you know, a lot of the things out there as far as who the Democrats have to run, you never know who may emerge. But the reality is, you got like Shapiro out there, who's the governor of Pennsylvania. You've got you know, Kamala Harris. People are at least going to be talking about it, although I do not see people spending, you know, another $2 billion on a Kamala Harris presidency. You've got Gavin Newsom is probably the front runner. I personally think Andrew Cuomo could have been, but I think the fact he couldn't even get the New York thing, they may be trying to save him for that. But my problem is the Democrats they kind of torpedoed him with Me Too for other reasons, but you know, this is kind of long-term consequences of that. And I don't think, other than Gavin Newsom, I'm gonna put Ben Shapiro out there. But I think with the Israel situation, you know, somebody being Jewish is probably going to be problematic, because he's going to run against a lot of people across the political spectrum that are really asking questions they never asked before, and that's going to be like an anchor on him, in my opinion. Especially when, you know, black people are not going to have a real reason to be compelled to really vote for him. You never know, because you don't know who their vice president's going to be. But as you can tell in the last couple of presidents, the vice presidents are pretty inconsequential. They really are. This is not the same thing to what it used to be. So, personally, I do think for that reason, unless JD Vance messes it up, which is truth be told, he's said certain things on social media. Most people are not plugged into social media. It's very questionable. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see. But I actually do think JD Vance is going to be the next president. We'll see what that, definitely for manosphere stuff, that's probably going to be good. Because that's going to be a continuation of like Trump stuff for the most part, with probably some adjustments, because JD Vance is not Trump. JD Vance is operating under the Trump umbrella, and he'll be pretty much one of the main inheritors of the Trump umbrella, but JD Vance is not Trump. He isn't. So, be paying attention to that, a JD Vance presidency next couple of years. Next year, you have the midterms going to be talked about, and that's going to set the stage for the presidency, because that'll be the next thing up in the next 2 years. So be paying attention to that. And let me know what your thoughts are about that. Do you have any ideas of other people, like for instance Westmore? I don't think Westmore is compelling enough. I think with a lot of black people, they just have empty suits that they're trying to present to black people, and I don't think they're going to catch. But let me know what your thoughts in the comments. The female civil war. I actually think in the next 10 years, you're going to see the female civil war, which means you're going to see women start to really dial back a lot of things that women have been able to get away with, and you're going to see women get a lot more involved doing this. Why? Why, you ask? Because, you know, a lot of women are going to start taking the hits from men pulling back financially, pulling back in the dating market, and it's really going to mess with these women and their ability to maneuver, and the reputation is just so damaged out here with different things like paternity fraud that I'm going to talk about, that a lot of women are going to have to get in front of it, and they're going to have to basically say, look, these women over here, the women that want to play games are over there, and they're going to do that for their own best interest. So be looking for that. The women are, you're going to see, you're going to first see it online. You already kind of see the preliminaries on it. Shout out to Grinch. He's one of the ones that predicted this. And you are going to see, you'll see it with white women, like for real first, where white women are going to start setting different standards on different things, saying this, that, and third. And you may see white women get involved in a lot of these laws. It's better that they get involved with these laws changing than these laws change on another pendulum. Because if they don't get involved, then dudes, as they should, are going to push it as far back as they can. You already see this with a lot of, they're doing reports on a lot of young men are starting to have a lot more conservative views, and what they want to call misogynistic views, but really are more traditional views about women's role and women's role in the society, because they've overreached. So definitely be looking for that. And you're going to see a lot of this crazy stuff. It's going to be, in my opinion, categorized as underclass behavior. And a lot of women are not going to be able to cry if they've done certain stuff and get that sympathy that they've, been banking on. So that's something that's going to happen. The next thing, another thing that I predict is going to be paternity fraud, and the rise of calling that out and getting the laws changed on that. And also marriage reform. You're going to see a lot of laws get shifted. You'll see them in the states first, and then you may see more of a national thing as well. But I definitely believe paternity fraud is definitely going to be put on the table in the next 10 years. It definitely is. Let me know what your thoughts are for that. Let me know what states you think are going to kind of lead the charge on that. And yeah. So we have AI, shout out to Terminator. I mean, AI is already here, but automation is going to come up next. And automation will deal with a lot of the blue collar jobs. I actually think AI might make it easier to bring in automation, because a lot of the infrastructure like data centers and stuff like that are being done at a mass level. I mean, it's like been 5,400 data centers that are either planned or already have been built. They are literally building plants just to work on these data centers. So they're already like to power these data centers outside of our grid. So they are already we're already building a foundation for like the future world. A lot of the stuff that you see when you see in like the quote unquote near future in certain movies, that stuff has to be built on a foundation, and that foundation is being built right now. Even stuff like Elon Musk being worth $500,000 supposedly now, and the rise of these mega billionaires leading to trillionaires, you're already seeing the foundations for a lot of this stuff, some of it not so good, that are already being laid or actively being laid. And so AI is going to continue dealing with the white collar stuff, and the automation is mainly going to be dealing with blue collar stuff, blue collar jobs real like jobs on the low end as well. In fact, a lot of those jobs are going to really target the low end. This is where a lot of the you should get in the STEM stuff that a lot of people were talking about were coming from, because people, the better jobs are going to be maintaining these machines, or if something goes wrong, overlooking that and correcting that. AI was not predicted to jump first. And so that's why a lot of people, to be fair, when they say get in the STEM, like you saw that in this space, that was based on automation. That was not based on AI, not to that extent. And so it wasn't that they were wrong. It's just that AI skipped the line. And in the end, at the end of the day, you can't always predict what's going to happen. And that does not mean automation is not coming. You're going to see, you got stuff like Waymo cars. You're going to have automatic trucking and shipping. Universal basic income, I think, is going to be a lot more on the table. In the next 10 years, you're going to start hearing that. When you already hear like people that are running on socialist platforms, like the dude is running for New York, he may not push on that when he gets in the office, but that conversation is being put out there in a way that it wasn't being put before. So what do you do about it? Well, first thing that I would say is, number one, if you are in a situation you can be uptrained, then absolutely do that. But the main thing that I would say is you have to start looking at the economy four-dimensionally, meaning a job. A job is one dimension. Investment is another dimension. Owning a business is another dimension. Owning like a business that you can sell to somebody else, and owning your own like job or income kind of on some contractor stuff is the other. You need to get into the supply side. AI is going to be much more of your friend if you're actually moving something, moving a product or a service for someone else, even if it's your own service. AI gives you the ability to project yourself in a way that you wouldn't have been able to do before individually if you're highly organized and or in no kind of have a vision of what you want to do. People that think they're just going to work a job and have a career and everything's going to be everything. I mean, some people are going to be that way, but that's going to be increasingly less likely. Degrees are going to matter less and less likely. And your ability to work together and quite frankly be able to use AI, you're going to have to lean into it. This isn't an arms race. I'm kind of putting AI and automation in the same boat, but this is like an arms race. So all that, these feelings that people love to get, when they talk about what AI, I remember, these conversations with certain people. And look, it is what it is. I get it. The artists, shout out to art, but it was other folks too. That was like what, a year ago now? Like a year ago. About what AI, we didn't even talk about AI video. AI video wasn't even in the conversation. We were talking about the images. And now you don't even talk about the images because the images are pretty much there. People can talk. As far as the untrained eye, artistic eye, it passes the test. When you look at some of this animation that they put out there and some of this anime, all this stuff isn't anime. Like some of this stuff is as good as what it was in the 80s. Because they're doing it was on the 80s. Like it's animation that was better in the 80s than it is now. When you look at like Dragon Ball Super and stuff, unless it's like an event, like a finale, and then they put all the money into it. AI can speed all it up. When you look at a lot of the filler stuff they need to do, and quite frankly, even outside of just regular animation, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can present in a certain way that people will absorb it. Now, will people pay money for it? Maybe, maybe not, depending on what it is. But definitely from a get it out there, get it content consumption standpoint, there's definitely a lot of stuff that can be done. So you're going to have to rethink the way that people do. But you need to get on the supply side, whether you're supplying a service or supplying a product, because that is how consistently AI is going to be more of a positive than negative. Now, some people will say you can only split an egg so much and it's still an egg. That is true. That's a different type of problem. But in the meantime, you can either be like, oh, well, because we're going somewhere anyway, or you can be prepared for to be on top of that situation. So, yeah, that's my other prediction is like, dude, you got to think about it. AI video year one. This is really year one. Some people may say it's year two, but I would say it's year one. And how far AI has come, how inexpensive it's starting to get. Yo, it's insane. And I'm just talking about, I'm not even talking about the chat bots. I'm just talking about the AI video and imaging. But eating all that stuff. So it's crazy, man. I was talking to somebody and they said the AI is expected to get better 10 times, like maybe every 2 years or year over year. We'll see. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know if AI is affecting your job, if automation is affecting your job. Let me know if you're planning on switching it up with that. And that's my prediction on that. Okay, this is probably one of the ones that you all are most interested in. You are going to see, when white people have a cold, black people have the flu. And when you look at this economic situation, the leverage is just going to be omnipresent when it comes to like stuff that's going on with women versus men. First of all, as America, unfortunately, America is declining. And as it's declining, there's going to be certain things. It's not just America declining. The distribution of wealth is like out of sync. It really is. Via taxation, via a lot of stuff. The rich people have too much control over the government. And as a result, honestly, you're going to see America start to get gold. Not probably not third world, but a lot of second world. You've already seen things like Flint, Michigan, things like Jackson, Mississippi, where they're willing to let the water of a lot of populations go and be bad. As you see less taxation because they're going to keep on using the debt, even though the debt outside of Social Security, which benefits the old people, the debt, which we're not going to benefit from, the debt is really military spending and occupations. But, at the expense of American infrastructure spending. But, you can't talk about that, amongst other things. And because they have pushed these girls out, these females out, as far as giving them the, it's amazing, all of them with their degrees and stuff, and then they're getting fired. You know, they don't have a lot of men to go to lean on. This is not just black people, this is white people too. So a lot of them are leaning more on their parents, the white folks, and black people just don't have that to lean on. So they're going into other alternative activities to try to lean on that. So you're going to see stuff happen. They may not like show it on TV, but you're going to see stuff start to happen on the low that you probably wouldn't even thought is possible. People love to talk about America in comparison to the third world, but the third world may come near you. You know, and so as that stuff happens, you're going to see an increasingly amount of the reach back. Anybody that's got money, you're going to see, honestly, when you look at like the rise of like the streamers versus, I mean, hip hop may be finally sunsetting a little bit, or at least kind of coming back down to out of dominating everything. Because if you got swag but you broke, like, that's cool when these women can go to other means of getting money. But when it's like they gonna be in poverty for real, not this kind of fake poverty where you still have an iPhone, but where everything you got is used, you got to strike. Yeah, that crap ain't gonna look good, especially when they see other women getting certain things from certain guys, because it's gonna be undeniable. It really is. And you're going to start to see that. So you'll start to see things like the reach back. You'll start to see things like women gaslighting men like on 1000 because they only know how to run really one playbook. And so that's going to be interesting to see. So as far as my prediction is, these women are going to come back to the table, and eventually these women are going to get extremely, extremely, extremely desperate. Extremely desperate. So let me know what you think. Give me some examples how you think these women are going to get desperate. Give me some examples of what you've seen when it comes to these women getting desperate. Like, remember with the T app, the T app gave us a really great window as to as far as who these women are dealing with, and a lot of them are dealing with broke dudes. They talk because eventually that cap and crap isn't gonna work. It doesn't work now. It's just people are deluding themselves. So anyway, let me know what your thoughts are when it comes to that. I'm putting this towards the end, so like, again, I appreciate it. I'll probably do a part 2 in a little while on this, but yeah, man, let me know what your thoughts on all these predictions, which one you agree with, which one particularly you disagree with, and why. And let me know if you want me to do more videos like this in the future. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.